Now to one of the most consequential and most lopsided power struggles in American government, the division of the war power between the President and Congress. And the short version is that the struggle has been largely resolved in practice in the President's favor, even if the constitutional doctrine remains contested. Here's the constitutional design. Congress has the exclusive power to declare war. The President has command of the armed forces. The framers saw these as complementary. The President would command the military in wars that Congress had declared, and Congress's control of the purse would provide an ongoing check, clean and balanced on paper. But the practice developed very differently. The last formal declaration of war by Congress was in 1942. Yet since then, the United States has fought major armed conflicts in Korea, Vietnam, the Persian Gulf, Afghanistan, and Iraq, all without formal declarations. The war power has, in effect, migrated to the presidency. Congress's most significant attempt to claw it back was the War Powers Resolution of 1973, enacted over President Nixon's veto in the wake of the undeclared Vietnam War. It requires the president to notify Congress within 48 hours of committing forces to hostilities, and it limits such engagements to 60 days plus a 30-day withdrawal, unless Congress authorizes continuation. But here's the catch. Every president since Nixon has called the resolution an unconstitutional encroachment, and none has fully complied. Congress has never successfully used it to force a withdrawal against a president's will, partly because of the political difficulty of appearing to abandon troops in the field, and partly because the courts treat war powers disputes as non-justiciable political questions. The other major source of modern war power is the Authorization for Use of Military Force, the AUMF, passed days after September 11, 2001. It authorized force against those responsible for the attacks, but executive branch lawyers have interpreted it extraordinarily broadly as authorizing drone strikes, special operations, and surveillance programs in dozens of countries against groups that didn't even exist when it was passed. It was drafted hastily, with no geographic limit and no sunset clause, and repeated efforts to repeal or revise it have failed, so the accumulated military authority of the modern presidency, resting on the AUMF, the Commander-in-Chief Clause, and decades of expansive executive interpretation, represents one of the most significant expansions of presidential power in all of American history. The framers' careful division of the war power has, functionally, tilted decisively toward the executive,